Now then, people, it's Joe, it's all Leeds TV, and we're back. We're back again for another Before the Whistle Blows. Obviously, we couldn't do it last week because we were too busy hammering Villa last week. So, you know, we had other things to be preoccupied with. But we're back for another episode of Before the Whistle Blows. We've got with us this week Hal, who you've seen a few times now. Really top guy. How are you, Hal? All right?
Yeah, I can't work out where my hand is and my camera. It's always a good start. I'm better with the audio side of things than the visual, as you can tell.
Yeah, man. Looking good. And we've got Locks with us as well from Leicester City Fan TV, obviously going up against each other this weekend. But how are you, Locks? All right?
Very good, mate. Pleasure to be here.
Great.
How are you?
Thanks for coming
You all right?
on. Yeah, great, mate. Great. Thanks for coming on. Oscar, Danny, have you quite come down yet from that fantastic result last weekend or last week?
Nah, mate. I'm looking forward to our Champions League chasing clash on Monday night. To be honest with you, you know, I think whoever wins that's getting fourth spot. If I'm being honest.
And Danny,
I've been bottling up the Villa tears and selling them on eBay. I just love it because they were giving it all that before the game, which rightly so. And internet went down in Birmingham for some reason after the game.
Great, mate.
Twitter.com wasn't working.
Can I just say,
great,
Joe,
yes.
I love it when you invite me back on here because it's like taking a trip backwards in time to 12 months ago when Sheffield United were joking about, we're going to get fourth, we're going to get into Europe, and you know we were beating teams that we weren't expected to beat, just like Leeds are doing, and it is exactly what you're feeling now.
Yeah.
It's mirrored exactly how I was talking a year ago.
Yeah, it's unreal, isn't it? To be honest, sometimes
Who says I'm joking, Hal?
Yeah. Yeah, joking.
I am, by the way.
The meme, the guy with a mask. I'm only joking when he's fuming behind. Just before we do get into the video, just like Monday Night Football, guys, this video is now sponsored as well by footballprizes.co.uk. Their link is in the description. Their website is also along the ticker. As you'll know, on Monday, they were running a signed Patrick Bamford picture, all framed up. Now that's actually run out. Now the tickets have gone for that. So the latest piece that they have is a Marcelo Bielsa signed and framed Leeds United replica shirt. I do believe there is only about 40 tickets left, if I'm honest. £4.95 a go. I'll show you guys as well. I actually entered, and that's how we got talking. I won myself a signed medal by, you can't quite make it. Oh, there you go. Signed by the man himself. And that was only, I think I bought 5 tickets and it worked out about 19 quid. So money well spent. So what you saying about that, Danny? It's nice that it.
100%. I'll be buying 20 tickets. I want that top. Look, very nice roundabout here, wasn't it?
Exactly, man. I'm running out of space, bro.
I'll break it and wear it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but if anyone is interested, the link to that will take you straight to that page. And genuinely, I checked about 4 or 5 o'clock and there was about 40 tickets remaining on that. So stick yourself a fiver in, and who knows, when it's drawn on Wednesday, you might get yourself a signed Leeds United Marcelo Bielsa shirt. And not only that, guys, as well, they do other teams. So Hal, Locks, make sure you check them out, or any opposing fans that are watching. I think they've got a Bruno Fernandes signed boot at the minute, but we don't want to talk about that scum shit. So they might as well just give that away.
But if you put it on, you fall over instantly. So be careful.
I keep getting people telling me I look like Bruno Fernandes.
You can see it a little bit.
Are you now trying to do that? Does he?
Can you fall over for us? Just
I know I can't play football.
Is it a penalty box anywhere?
And for those that are watching, please smash a like on the stream, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on Twitter, please do drop us a retweet. So we'll get straight into it, guys. I do just want to we've just been talking about them there, Manchester United and Arsenal. I want to start with them. Look, since Man United were absolutely battered at home against Spurs, they've been on a pretty decent run. Admittedly, I think 2 of the 3 wins they've had have come in the Champions League. But they scored 11 goals, since that game. So quite the turnaround. But it is still their worst start at home in over 48 years. No win at home since July in the league. So Arsenal coming to town. I just want to touch on Arsenal as well, guys, just so you're aware. It seems to me a little bit like the Arteta bubble has burst a little bit. I've heard fans actually start to question him a little bit. I know whether you agree or disagree, it's happening. Arsenal have 1 away win now in 5 under Arteta, and I'll give you a bonus point, right? I don't know. I'll just give you a point if you can guess or tell me the last time Arsenal won away against a team in the top 6. Does anyone want to give that a try?
When it was, or who it was against?
When it was. I know.
I can't remember winning away against the top 6.
It was January 2015. 2015.
Wow. 5 years.
Yes, since they won away at a top 6 side. So it's absolutely insane for me. So as bad as Man United's home record is at the moment under Solskjaer, does anyone see Arsenal getting a result? I'm not sure how it goes. Hal, I'll come to you first. How do you see it going, my friend?
I think it's for us.
Hal? Has he froze? He has. I thought it was me. I'll come to you, Oscar. Go on, Oscar. You take us out with that one.
I look at it and I think, obviously, Scum have been doing well, haven't they, recently? I think Rashford especially has really stepped it up the last few weeks. I think obviously they had Martial got that funny red card, didn't he, against Spurs, and they've kind of bounced back from that, to be fair to him. But I still look at Arsenal, to be honest with you, and I still think, obviously, had a few bad results, but I think Arsenal fans are mad if they're genuinely questioning Arteta. I think he genuinely has taken forward quite a long way. I can see Arsenal getting something. I can genuinely see Arsenal getting something. I think Aubameyang, I think we spoke about him on Monday Night Football. Yeah, surely a player of that quality at some point, he's not going to remain like this for the whole season. He's going to turn up at some point. And what better time to do it? Up against Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire up against Aubameyang at any kind of level or standards near his best is going to struggle. And I think obviously Pepe from the other side, Willian, people like that. I think Arsenal have got enough there to get something. I think they can get something.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on Aubameyang there, and I'll come to Locks. Obviously, he's scored no goals in 5 now. I think he's been on a bit of a barren run since he signed that new deal. I know Locks. Obviously, you've just come from beating Arsenal. What's going on with Aubameyang? Do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I did read somewhere that I think it was his worst. It was his biggest goal drought since his early days at Dortmund or something like that. So it's been a long time since he's had a run like this. But I don't know. I still feel he can kind of come up with a goal out of the blue. He was against his former kind of youth team teammate in Wesley Fofana when he played us, he's been magnificent since he came in, and he did keep him quiet along with the other members of the defence at Leicester. But I don't know. I agree with Oscar. I think Arsenal will get something from the game, 100%. As he said, Aubameyang against Maguire, that's not gonna go in Maguire's favour at all. Harry Maguire. So I can only see a goal at least from Arsenal. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet at all. But I mean, I feel like Man United, was it the PSG game? Maguire wasn't playing, and they look better without him in the team. But I think when he's fit, they will play him because of the £80 million price tag. So I can only see. I would go with an Arsenal win, really.
Do you know, just on that Maguire, obviously he did ever so well at Leicester. Did you, when he did move on, were you gutted? Or, I mean, it's easy to say with hindsight now, we've absolutely stole 80 million from Man United. Do you know what I mean? But at the time, he was playing really well. How was the emotions amongst Leicester fans when that deal went down?
when the Maguire deal went through, we were upset. We were worried because we had Kagla Soyuncu at the club at the time, but in his first season for us, he was absolutely shocking. I think he only played he played less than 10 games. He didn't play many at all, and he wasn't good at all. So when Maguire left, we were quite worried because we didn't bring anyone in. We were linked with Tarkowski, and we were slightly worried as to kind of we thought that we'd be leaking a lot of goals, but obviously it went on to Soyuncu having a magnificent season. I don't know if he was in the team of the season, but I think he should have been. He was magnificent. So like Chilwell recently, not many Leicester fans were bothered when Chilwell left us because he'd had quite a few bad performances for Leicester City just prior to him leaving. And he was a bit inconsistent. But yeah, the Maguire deal, it's a myth, really. He was magnificent for us. And since going to United, it's just not worked out for him at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you in parts there. Obviously, it's easy now with hindsight to sling mud, but at the time he was doing great, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Hal, you are with us, Hal, right?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I guess my wife's probably streaming something on Netflix at the same time.
It was like you was just froze, and then people were saying in the chat, he is alive, he's blinking, and I was like, I can't see him.
I don't think everyone's... Have you ever seen a film where someone dies it doesn't happen?
Yeah.
That's not how people die. But thanks for those people saying I am alive. Yeah, I just want to jump in on the Maguire thing. I don't like all this Maguire hate. He's a blade. He's a legend at the Lane. We were devastated, just like you were saying there, when he left Sheffield United, because he is a good player, and he's having a bit of a sticky spell at the moment. It hasn't helped with what happened in the pre-season, but I'm always amazed that people turned on him, and people were so ready to believe kind of Greek authorities ahead of our England captain, and it left a bit of taste in the mouth. And then the truth's kind of come out, and we know that it sounds like Harry didn't really do anything wrong. But I think that stuff has definitely had an effect on his form on the pitch. But when he does play well, he's magnificent, and I would love us to get behind him. And we're not a nation that seem to do that with England players, and it's always such a shame.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean there about getting behind England players, to be fair.
I was just going to say as well, sorry, touch on that. I think if Maguire had joined Man United for 30, 40 million, I think it would be a different story. They are rating him now as an 80 million pound defender, and he's not an 80 million pound defender. We all know he's not. So I think that is one of the issues.
Yeah, no, bang on, Lux, bang on. Danny, thoughts on Scum Arsenal, mate?
I've said all along. Well, to touch on my 2 pence on the Maguire thing, I've said all along. Well done to Leicester for getting 80 million out of them. Heist of the century, I think. I've always said that. But yeah, Maguire, he's not an 80 million player for me. But like Al just pointed on there, that I think pre-season's in his head and he needs to rest a few games. They played well when he went in the team the other week. But on to Arsenal, Man U, I just don't think Man U... I think Arsenal will turn up because I like Arsenal and how they play under Arteta. And Aubameyang, he might have scored not in 5, but like Oscar says, he's going to turn up. He's too good of a player not to turn up. And I just want to see him do a couple of flips, to be honest. See if he's still got it in the bag.
Yeah.
But he's got springs in his feet because how high he gets when he does them bloody flips is unreal.
I just want to ask you quickly, Danny, as well. Obviously, we're forever slinging mud at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Do you think it's just another one of them periods where he has a good few results, or do you think he's actually turned a corner since that 6-1 spanking by Spurs? Or has he, are we giving him maybe a little bit too much credit? Those that are, I still think he's bang average. But what are your thoughts on Solskjaer?
I won't vent my true thoughts, but I just don't think he's up to. Look, Man United have dominated, for loads of years, haven't they? Like under Fergie and stuff like that. It is what it is. But as a Leeds United fan, the Schadenfreude is just irresistible to have, isn't it? It's like we all love seeing Man U in the mud. But I hope, as a Leeds fan, I hope he has, he does all right. But that's in order so we can fucking thrash them. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it's good enough for Man United. I thought he was just an interim manager. He got a few good. Rio Ferdinand did the old get the contract out, give him what he wants. I just think he was interim to begin with. Had a few good, games, and then they've signed him on a long-term contract. I mean, if they wanted rid of him, they'd have got rid of him by now, surely.
Yeah. Gail Dale's just put a comment here, rookie manager like Lampard. Locks, do you go along with that? Because he's not a rookie manager, is he? He's been around for a while. I mean, he took Cardiff down. He then went back to Norway and came back to the Premier League. Would you still class him as a rookie?
I wouldn't class him as a rookie manager. I definitely don't think he's got the CV to be managing a club like Manchester United at all. I don't really know how he's. I mean, obviously it's from sentiment you'd feel, but I wouldn't say he's a rookie manager. Arteta and Lampard. Obviously this is Lampard's second job, but yeah, I mean Arteta, for instance, obviously that is his first manager's job. So, in comparison to that, he's definitely not a rookie.
No, definitely not. Let's get some score predictions then. It pains me to say it, but for me, I just can't see Arsenal getting over a hoodoo that's hung around the head since 2015. I don't see them winning the game. There's something in that. I don't care what you say. The fact that it's been January 2015, I think it's insane. I think it could be a repeat of the Chelsea scum last weekend. I genuinely think it could be as poor as a bit of a drab 0-0 personally. Hal, what are your thoughts, mate, on this one?
Yeah, Joe, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'll stop the song there, even though I do think we're getting on very well. I'm gonna go with a 0-0 as well, mate.
Oscar?
I think it's a similar kind of game, but Rashford to get one, Aubameyang to get one, 1-1.
Nice. Locks?
I agree with the Rashford and the Aubameyang, but I think it's going to be finished 2-1 Arsenal. Maybe a Aubameyang with a brace to end his poor spell.
Nice, I like that. Danny?
Yeah, I agree with Locks, 2-1 Arsenal.
Cool.
I just think Arsenal will play better, to be honest. And it doesn't matter what I say because I never get these right anyway.
Do you actually go back and check? I never do, I never do.
It's to the point now where I go, yeah, I probably got that wrong anyway.
No one watches us anyway, mate. So you can just tell everyone that you got them right, and no one would bother watching.
Yeah.
We'll move on then slightly to Liverpool, West Ham. Liverpool, obviously the loss of Virgil van Dijk's absolutely huge. I believe as well Fabinho's out for this game as well. I think he picked up a knock midweek and could well be out. So that throws up into question who plays at centre-back for them. Obviously West Ham are in great form as well. If Antonio makes I think he picked up a knock as well last time out, I believe. So maybe if he plays...
Antonio's out, I think, yeah.
Is it been confirmed as being out?
Yeah, it's definitely out.
Right, okay. I mean, do we give... I know West Ham are in a rich vein of form, and they are playing really well, but this is Liverpool, and it's Liverpool at Anfield. Oscar, do you give West Ham any hope in this with the fact that Fabinho's going to be out, who's been in at centre-back in replacement of Virgil van Dijk? Do you give them any hope?
Yeah, I think, look at West Ham going forward. I think you've got a threat there. I think even without Antonio, you've got Bowen, Benrahma maybe. Benrahma might come in with Antonio missing. True. You've got Haller coming in as well. I think it's a decent striker. We've not quite seen the best of in England yet. But I think obviously Liverpool, my fantasy football team is taking some hammering because I had to switch from player to player to player. Put Fabinho in and obviously going to have to take him straight back out again. But, I mean, that's going to be a struggle, that. Defensively, you look at it and think Fabinho has done really well for him since he stepped up pretty well. He gave away that penalty against Sheffield United, but I think he's done pretty well for him. So it's a struggle from that point of view. We're just looking at a couple of build-up to it as well. And saying that Williams, a young lad called Williams, might start this game. Yeah. So I still think Liverpool going forward are going to cause a lot of problems to that West Ham team. Yeah, I think you kind of got Declan Rice, Mark Noble. I'm not sure that's enough protection against, Salah and Mane. Just absolutely, I think they've hit it to another level now. You're talking about Salah and Mane is kind of not that far off Messi levels now. Not that far, a bit closer. I think than they were. I think before they were very, very good players. I think now look at Messi having a slight bit of a little decline this season. All of a sudden, you're looking at Salah and Mane and thinking they're probably the closest to it at the minute.
Do you go along with that, Hal? I've seen you puff your cheeks out as Oscar. Oscar's not one for holding back. Sometimes, he's called Cooper Baresi and stuff in the past. He's not.
I was right on that one.
But Hal, do you agree with that, mate? I've seen you blow your.
Well, I certainly think Cooper is about as good as Baresi is now. I mean. I love thinking of Cooper because I just think of Billy Sharp bullying him and Basham arriving. And yes, I've reminded you of that again. You brought Cooper into it. Messi is, I feel privileged. I've been lucky enough to see Messi live on 5 different occasions, and I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo live, and I've seen Salah and Mane playing for Liverpool, but I also saw Salah playing for Fiorentina. Roma, not Fiorentina. And I saw Mane play for Southampton. And at no time watching them at those clubs did I think Messi level in wildest dreams. I think they're getting so much better. But Messi is probably the greatest player to have ever played football. So I don't think anyone is really at that level. Maybe Ronaldo and that's it. And even in the past as well, I know we had Pele's 80th birthday last weekend, and he was probably one of the greatest, but it's totally different era, so hard to compare. But no, I don't think they're quite at that level. Although I will say they are fantastic players, and they are definitely getting better and reaching their peak. I just don't think their peak is Messi's peak.
No, definitely not. Locks, Liverpool, West Ham. Do we give West Ham any hope in this one?
No, I don't at all. I watched the Liverpool Sheffield United game, and for me, whenever Liverpool go 1-0 down or if they go behind, I always see them coming back. And in that Sheffield United game, obviously it happened. So especially with Antonio out, Bowen out. You said Bowen's out? Did you? Is Bowen in? Is he out?
No, Bowen will play. Yeah.
But Antonio, someone's mentioned in the comments there that they've not won. They've not won whilst Antonio's been out. There we go. So I don't really give them much hope at all against Liverpool. I would go for quite a high scoreline actually as well.
Yeah, Danny.
I think Liverpool will do West Ham. They've got they've got the defensive problem, but Liverpool have got great youth. Under Klopp. We've seen it with Curtis Jones and other players like that, and that Williams kid. But I think, like Oscar said, going forward, and Hal touched on it as well. These players are reaching their professional peak, and Salah, the goal he scored against us was just unreal. You couldn't get it even more perfect. And the other goals that Salah, last season he was on fire, and with Antonio out, you've got Bowen. Bowen always produces something in the games. But I think with Antonio, I just think Liverpool will just win all day.
Do you think? Sorry, Corey. Do you think Antonio's goal was given a bit too much respect? I didn't think it was that great, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know if anyone wants the one he scored at the weekend. Yeah, the overhead one.
It was a lovely goal, Joe. Don't be a killjoy.
I don't. I think it was given too much. So it was like, it's fantastic. Not really. He just winged him there, didn't he?
You can't enjoy these moments. Why do you get into football?
Mate, I'm just a miserable Yorkshireman. That's all it is. Hal, you obviously.
So am I really?
Yeah. Last time out. Obviously, 2-1 it was, wasn't it, against Liverpool? What did you make of Liverpool?
I don't care about Liverpool. What did I make of Sheffield United? I thought the Blades played really well. Should have had 3, maybe 4 penalties. Got properly shafted. What is the point of VAR if they're not going to look at blatant penalties? We got a penalty that wasn't a penalty, and then 2 cast iron penalties that weren't given. And I think if the referee gives them, VAR doesn't overturn them. But because he didn't give them, VAR doesn't give them. How does that make any sense? The whole point of VAR was to remove controversy. We seem to have more of it now than we ever did before. I personally, and I'm sure we'll all agree in here, I prefer football when it is as close to the game that is played on the park by us as mates as it is to the professional level. I don't like getting it all technical. It's not American football. We don't need every decision to be right. The referees, now we realise, when they were on the Todd, they got like 90% of the decisions right anyway. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. It's right. I'd rather take one shocking decision, a season, because it's and have these 50-50 sort of ones, as opposed to them reviewing every single fucking thing.
And you know what else it is, Joe? It's when you score a goal and you're like, can I celebrate?
Yeah.
Hate that. That's killed football for me.
We've not actually had the chance to experience that in the ground yet, because obviously I know you two will have. I mean, can you give us an insight into what that? Obviously, sat at home, it's different, but we've obviously not been in the ground since Leeds have been in the Premier League, so we haven't really been able to experience that little lull. What's it like, lads?
Well, I'll jump in because Brighton away I went to last season, and there was 3 goals disallowed by VAR. 3 in one game. 2 of them for the mighty Red and White Wizards and 1 for Brighton. And we won 1-0 thanks to Leeds lad Ollie McBurney. But it got to the point where when the third one was ruled out, I actually said to my dad, I don't want to look like an idiot anymore. I don't want to cheer goals because it feels stupid. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling. We had the same against Manchester City away when Lys Mousset scored a fantastic goal. And it took ages for the decision. And it was a gnat's bollock hair off. And you think that's not football. John Lundstrom's big toe against Tottenham, he wasn't even the player that crossed the ball in for the goal. Nonsense. And it ruins, it kills the spontaneity and the excitement of football. You watch it for the goals, and then you're like, oh, well, is this a goal? Can I celebrate this goal? Am I going to look like a tit? You know, it's so much worse when you're at the ground because you've got no idea what's going on. It's sort of changed in the last year because at least we've all been watching on telly. Yeah, no. What about for you, Locks?
Yeah, I mean, I think Leicester we've been quite fortunate. We haven't had really, I can't really think of any really decisions that have massively kind of changed the game against us. I remember the start of this year, we played Everton in the Cup and we got a 90th minute winner and it did go to VAR for offside. But on that occasion, it kind of did add to the emotion. Everyone seemed, the whole stadium kind of broke out. It was crazy because it was obviously 93rd minute, something like that. We'd scored a goal. We'd all celebrated once. Then it kind of, finger to the air, wait in, and then it was given for us. So I can't really say what it's like against us because we haven't had much experience with it. I remember we had the Southampton, I'm sure you remember the 9-0 Leicester win. We had a VAR incident.
People don't really mention that game, do they? It's
the red card, nowhere. But yeah, Leicester have been quite fortunate, I would say, with the VAR. That could change, could change Monday. Who knows? But
Leicester have been very fortunate. In fact, in a game against Sheffield United at the start of last season in the Premier League, you won 2-1. Harvey Barnes scored an absolute worldie. But in the build-up to that, Soyuncu absolutely clattered John Egan, wins that ball, it lays off to Barnes scores, and all us blades are thinking, VAR are going to disallow that because Egan would have won that ball. No one has even talked about it. Didn't even get brought up on Match of the Day. It's only us whinging Sheffield United fans that look like we're crazy.
See, you've forgotten about it, Al.
Yeah, no.
I can't let any of these go. And honestly, I can remember every bad decision Sheffield United have ever had against us since 1995. And if you've got time, I'll go through them all.
I do struggle when people are discussing VAR. I do, and a lot of Leicester fans do sit back a little bit because we've not really had much to complain about. Obviously, a few more decisions against us, and I'm sure that would completely change. But at the minute, I think we're just quite content with it. We're not really bothered.
We haven't had anything drastic happen yet. I think worked in our favour against Wolves, but we went and lost the game anyway. But I don't know. Don't think I'm looking forward to it being in the grounds. But we'll have to wait and see. But we'll give Hal some time now to talk to us, because the next one I want to touch on is Sheffield United City. What's going on, Hal?
What's going on?
No, but I sat here before. Wait,
I was just thinking that Danny would introduce this as Sheffield versus Manchester.
No. I would have said the Blades.
Nice one, mate.
The Blades. But mate, how's Brewster been? How have you seen much of him? Do you think that he will get you the goals? I know last season against City, both games were tight, I believe.
Very tight.
But yeah, how does what's going on at Blades? Are you going to get out of this rut? Are you going to get some wins on the board? Is what I'm going to ask you, Hal.
Crikey, Joe, there's about 7 questions in there. Okay, so let's try and go back through them. Have I seen a lot of Brewster? No. Do I think he's going to get the goals for us? Yes. What's going wrong with the Blades? We're not scoring goals, and that was a problem last season, as you know. We were just not letting them in. Basically, the way Sheffield United win is if we score a goal and we don't let any in, obviously, we win 1-0. But we're not going to win 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. We don't really add to our tally. If we concede, the best we can hope for is 1-1. So that is us. And this season, our rock at the back, Jack O'Connell, has been injured. People are saying Virgil van Dijk being out for Liverpool is a big blow. Well, sure it is. But think about, he's our Virgil van Dijk, Jack O'Connell, and we've got a much smaller squad and less talented than Liverpool. And we couldn't get a replacement in, try as we might, before the transfer deadline, which doesn't, of course, close that deadline. It's slammed shut, and we've been without. So we are playing Jack Robinson first. We tried him, a left back, at left centre back, didn't work. Then we tried Ender Stevens, a left back, at left centre back. That also hasn't worked. He was caught out for Liverpool's winner. So we are struggling at the back. We're now letting in the goals we weren't letting in last season, and we're still not scoring. And I'm very, very concerned because we've got 7 strikers on the books. But our top goal scorer last season only got 6 goals.
And you've spent a bit of money, right? How much was Burnley last summer? Was it 20
million pounds?
And you say that with a little bit of, are you not a fan?
Oh, no, I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of anyone who wears red and white and until they leave. And McBurney tries so hard. He's great in the air. He's actually really good on the ground, but he doesn't get a lot of opportunities because we don't really give him chances. It seems like he never gets. In fact, the last one-on-one I can remember him having was against Brighton in that game I referenced earlier. He is one of those players that if there's like something to sniff around in the box, he'll get on it. But we just don't really create enough chances for him. He's always seeming to win the flick on for someone else.
Obviously, ahead of City, I don't think Aguero's fit, right? I don't think Aguero's fit again. There's going to be no Jesus. I know KDB only played a handful of minutes midweek. So it could be the best opportune time to be playing City. Do you think you can get anything from the game, Hal?
Oh, you know me already well enough to know, of course, I think we can get something from this game.
Yeah.
I am getting less and less positive and optimistic as the weeks go on. So at the start of the season, I would have thought we were going to win. This shows you how bad we're going. I now think we're going to draw.
Okay. Right, okay. Danny, how do we see this one going, mate? City, Sheffield United. Obviously, City are without some big, big players up top. Still sort of new defence in there. The fullbacks aren't so great for me. How do we see it going, mate?
Well, morale's down when Hal's saying that he's only hoping for a draw. I mean, Hal's the biggest Sheffield United fan.
Nearly.
But I like Chris Wilder, and I like his style of play. He absolutely, he did so well last year. Even in the Championship, I thought his approach to football was great. But like you say, like Man City, they're not doing particularly well. On paper they should be, away from the rest of us. But you've got Sterling who's misfiring. He's not having something's going on there. You've got KDB who's out, Jesus, Aguero, and then they've got the old their defensive situation. Diaz is doing okay for 60 million, he should be hitting the ground running. I think he's all right. But I am just a Saturday League player who watches Friends on Netflix on a Saturday night. I honestly see Sheffield United coming away with something. I just know. I say it like Chris Wilder's my mate, but knowing Chris Wilder is he'll pull. He'll just say like it's no nonsense. Chris Wilder. He'll just say go out and play a game. And I think Sheffield will just. I think they'll match with me, to be honest.
There you go. He did the Sheffield thing. I mean, we nearly got through it.
Right.
That wasn't even on purpose.
I
liked everything you said as well, and then you ruined it. And now it's all superfluous. It doesn't matter what you said.
What you didn't hear is that I must have cut out on the thing. I went Sheffield.
Right. Some dodgy internet, is it?
Just for a bit of context for anyone who's saying, Hal does not like the Blades being called just Sheffield, and gave us this long tirade last time the reasons as to why, and Danny just keeps calling them Sheffield.
I promise you, it's not on purpose. There's only one Sheffield team, right?
Well, that's Sheffield FC, and then there's Sheffield United. Yeah, as I went over it last time. I will just say, by the way, City are 13th in the league, right? And you could argue, if you're going to stay up, you've got to be beating those mid-table teams.
I love that. Do you know what it is, Locks? I think it's the uncertainty at City around Pep Guardiola's contract and him not signing on that dotted line, which has got all them players. Maybe he's been there a few years now as well. I believe it's his worst start in his managerial career ever. I know it's City's worst start in about 6 years. I think we touched on Monday Night Football. It's not going great. Maybe they've got a little. Bored's not the right word, but I don't know. Maybe they've got a bit sick of Pep and his tactics. I know it's been levelled at Bielsa in the past. Players get sick of it after a period of time. It's a lot for them to take on, and year after year after year. And maybe with him not, confirming and saying I'm going to be here for another X amount of years. Do you go along with that lot?
It could be that. I mean, I think it could be a wide range of things. I think the whole season so far has been a bit mental. You've got Aston Villa in the top four with the game in hand still. So, no fans in the ground. I don't know if that plays a part, but it didn't really play a massive part in Man City after lockdown. So, I can't put my finger on it. I would say it's most likely the uncertainty with Guardiola. I think is this his longest spree at a club now. I think is his longest spell at the club at any club. Obviously, Bayern Munich was 3 years, 4 years, something like that. So uncertain times, 100%. But I think both Sheffield United and Man City need to get some more points on the board. I think the Blades will come out fighting against City, but I just think Man City have got too much. I think they're going to come away with the win there.
Yeah. And what about you, Oscar? How do you see it going? It's a tough place to go, Bramall Lane. It is, man. It was a nightmare. We snuck away, really, with that 1-0 win.
For where City are at the minute, no striker fit, as you were saying, it's a perfect opportunity for Sheffield United. I do think. City at the minute, Burnley's heights could cause a few problems. I think just he can bully. I think he might target one or two centre backs in that lot. But I think the big thing with City is, I think you guys touched on, obviously, Pep. I think there's a big thing happening with Pep now. I think it's certainly going to really gather momentum. It's Barcelona. I think Barcelona is one that's looking more and more and more and more likely. They've changed presidents. It feels like that could be something that's, possibly going to happen. You see a lot of Barcelona fans dream about that. And really, I think if you ask Pep Guardiola, does he want to manage in sunny Spain or does he want to manage in rainy Manchester? I think you know what he's going to do. And I do have that feeling it's going to be his last season at Manchester, especially if we win the Champions League. I think that's the.
Call him Manchester.
Manchester.
Yes, Oscar.
I think it's his last season at City, no matter what, to be honest. So And I think it's a bit of everything. I think, as Locke said, I think it's a bit of everything at City. You know, I think the players might be getting a little bit bored of the same kind of, because it's quite robotic from time to time, not in a bad way, but I think in terms of individuals, might want something a bit different now. I think it's like that with any manager. I think for any manager, you know, these days as well, no matter who you are, after 4 or 5 years in the job, it does get to that stage. But for me, City, going into this one, I think they played well at the midweek, to be fair, watching midweek. He sort of played Sterling as a false nine, and Sterling looked good in that position, to be fair. I'd imagine they'll try and do the same. I think Torres, who they've signed, looked a really good signing. I think Guardiola's already done good work with him. So I think they've still got a threat going forward, but not maybe the same kind of threat as they had Jesus and Aguero. I think City will sneak it, but I think Sheffield United are going to definitely give them a game. They gave Liverpool the game. There's no reason why they're not going to give City a game as well.
Yeah, give us a score prediction. Go on, Hal. Well,
just to finish, because Oscar's absolutely spot on, like with everything he says. And when you said earlier, Oscar, like, Bramall Lane's a hard place to go. Yes, but Chris Wilder said in his press conference that no team has been hit harder by having no fans in than Sheffield United. And if you look at our form since no fans in, it is dreadful. This will be 10 games without a win if we don't get a result. Wow. And I mean, that is absolute it's absolute relegation form, and it is the fans not being there. I think if there's a packed Bramall Lane, you guys have all experienced it. It's properly a 12th man.
Yeah, definitely. I was at the game when Billy Sharp scored the volley in the first few minutes. Man, I was absolutely I was fuming that game. That was the season before the Messiah came in, though. Of course, I think it was the season before.
Was that Heckingbottom's first game? That I think it was Heckingbottom's first game. That
I think Heckingbottom's involved at Bramall Lane now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think he's working with the youth team.
Drops off.
We've got Neil Redfern and Heckingbottom working behind the scenes, and I think everything I've heard about Neil Redfern sounds dreadful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a few things recently. If you hear, in fact, if you read Paddy Kenny's book, some of the stuff he says about Neil Redfern is very disparaging.
Oh, I don't know. I've not actually read the book. I've listened to his podcast that he did on Under the Cosh. It's a good read. Good listen. So it's something I'll listen about. Does he? I mean, I'm totally off point here, but he's from obviously where I'm from. His mum and dad just live round the corner from where I grew up in Halifax. Does he speak much about his time at Halifax or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, the book's very in depth, and there's some really good stuff about the start of his career, and there's loads of stuff about Halifax, the place, and his time at Leeds. He's a bit. I would say he enjoyed his time at Leeds the least, and that comes across in the book a lot more than it did on the Under the Cosh podcast.
But I even think on that Under the Cosh podcast when he was, who was it now? Was it Julian Lewis and fucking what's his face, man? I forget his name
Peter
now.
Taylor. He took Junior Lewis.
Yeah, no, who was the Hookaday was there, right? And he had him he told him to come all the way up to Scotland, and then when he got there, he said, "Oh, I don't want you to play and stuff." And it's just, to be honest, Calvin Phillips has just done a podcast with the lads the Leeds That podcast, and he spoke about some of the stuff that went down when we had the likes of Steve Evans, etc. And it's absolute insanity, but it just shows how far we've come when it's run properly. But that I've gone off on a little bit of a tangent there, really. But Hal, give us a score prediction, mate, for this weekend.
1-1.
1-1. Like that, I'll take that as well. I think you might get something as well, if I'm honest, at home. Locks?
2-1 Man City.
Oh, and Danny?
1-1 to Sheffield United.
that doesn't make any sense, but I'll take it.
Love it. Right, we'll just briefly.
Mommy's doing it again.
He's being quicker than me.
We'll just briefly touch on Burnley Chelsea. I just want to touch on Chelsea because obviously I have absolutely battered Lampard and I will continue to do so. However, they've now had 3 clean sheets on the bounce. They've scored a couple of goals in the Champions League. Thiago Silva looks decent. The keeper Mendy, I think in every game he's played, they've not conceded. He's played in 4 games. Obviously, he picked up a knock and then they went and conceded 3 against Southampton when Kepa goes back in net. So he looks like a real bit of a steal at 25 million. The fact that they've managed to keep, 4 clean sheets since he's played. I think, much like Solskjaer at Man United, they will have these periods where they will pick up. I mean, you can't not with the attacking front that they have. Ziyech scored on his debut as well. Werner. They've got attackers aplenty. I know they're up against Burnley. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Chelsea. We'll come to the guys that are neutrals in a way because we can't stand Chelsea or Frank Lampard. But at Locks, do you see Chelsea have turned a corner now? They're managing to keep clean sheets, and they're now just going to start blowing teams away and move up the table, starting with Burnley.
I don't know. I mean, it's been a bit like me on playing Football Manager. That the players they've brought in, they don't really know. It seems like he hasn't got a position for them all, especially with the Kai Havertz. He's come in and he's played on the right. He's played as an attacking midfielder, as a striker at one stage. So I think it was difficult at the first couple of games. It looks like they may have turned a corner. But I don't know. I still think there could be some inconsistency there. A part of me doesn't even see them finishing in the top 4. I know that sounds a bit crazy because
they don't, mate. It doesn't at all. Not on this. It doesn't, mate.
No, well, I mean, obviously they finished their last season and they've strengthened their team. But I don't think Chilwell's all what people are making him out to be. That's just from experience of watching him. He's only going to get better, of course, but I think at the minute he's not quite the finished product. And yeah, I mean, Werner, he scored a couple goals recently, hasn't kind of done as well as Chelsea fans thought he was going to do. But it's a bit too hard to tell at the minute. I think that I don't think they'll be pushing for the title like some fans think they will be.
Yeah, definitely not for me. And I go along with you, mate, that I think they'll struggle for the top 4. Hal, talk to me about Chelsea. Did they batter Burnley? Have they turned a corner?
Well, you know me, I don't like to try and bring everything back to Sheffield United. We've got Chelsea next. Yeah,
have you?
Yeah. After we beat City, or after we beat them 1-1. Well, Locke said that playing Football Manager. Now that makes me think of something that if you sign a lot of players on Football Manager, you often don't start your season quite so well because they haven't gelled. I think that's based on real life, and I think that's exactly what's happened. And actually, Chelsea all came together because last season they were up against it, and Lampard could have used that galvanised spirit of, oh, lads, everyone hates us. We've got this punishment. It's all us. We've got to stick together. We'll have to throw the youth in, which turns out the youth are amazing. And now he's had to actually, get the checkbook out and sign players, and maybe has upset a bit of that dressing room camaraderie that they had, which I think got them through last season when they weren't that impressive, but they still managed to pick up results. It's not really happening that way this season. I personally I'm completely ambivalent to Chelsea. I know you guys all hate them, and I know why, but I think Chelsea will still have too much for Burnley, which will suit Sheffield United fine.
Good, yeah. But I heard today Burnley are getting bought out. Is that right, Oscar? I think they've got some big buyers coming in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Burnley, Sean Dyche, amount of times he's moaned about the transfer budget. I mean, there has been little mentions about that, in and around Lancashire and about Burnley. I think there's always been American interest in Burnley, believe it or not. I don't know why, but there is. I don't know. You look at Burnley, and I think it's a little bit like, in a different kind of way, it's a bit similar to Man City in the sense that maybe the players are getting a little bit bored of Sean Dyche now. It might be so. As much as I do rate Sean Dyche the manager, maybe there's a certain point where you're asking people to defend sort of 10 men behind the ball, where it gets to a stage where after 4 or 5 seasons, the players are like, hang on a minute, this is a bit boring, this, you know what I mean? Because I think that's the way football's headed now. I think the players have more and more power. And we've seen it with so many teams. I think Mourinho, towards the end of his spells, players are down tools. And I think it's an increasingly big thing now with player power. But I don't know. I think Chelsea, though, you look at Chelsea and I'm still not convinced, to be honest, mate. I'm still not convinced. I think obviously they kept some clean sheets, but against Scum and trying to think who else it was, Sevilla, I think they had like 4 shots in both games. So they kind of gone from one extreme to the other, trying to play this free-flowing football to thinking, hang on a minute, we're completely open and have to sit back. I still think they're either going to have to go for it against Burnley or they're going to have to sit back. I think it's more likely they'll go for it, but against other teams, they might get caught out. So I'm still to be convinced. I think obviously great win at the midweek, but again, does it tell you a lot? As of yet, I'm not convinced. I think, to be fair, for all the stick Solskjaer gets, I'm amazed, to be honest. Lampard gets hardly none in comparison. But for me, Solskjaer's done a better job than Lampard, primarily because he spent about half of what Lampard's spent so far. So just find it quite interesting that. I think Lampard's
it's because he's English, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. He's getting. I mean, he's moaning midweek as well. I can't remember what.
Well, what did he say? He said, "I'm getting an unfair stick because I'm English," or something like that. He's the most. Honestly, I can't stand the man. I cannot stand the man.
Mate,
he's the most
I've got to a stage now where I probably not too far off disliking Chelsea and Lampard more than Scum. It's not. I'm not getting far off now. I'm at the closest I've ever been to Scum getting overtaken in that kind of regard. The closest, honestly.
Yeah, I'm getting all these sticks. I'm English. What a wanker. Danny, talk to me about them, mate. Or just give us a score prediction and we'll move on to the big game.
2-0 Chelsea.
1-0 Burnley for me. Hal?
2-0 Chelsea.
Oscar?
1-0 Chelsea.
And Locks?
3-0. 3-0 Chelsea.
Cool. Well, I hope that's not the case, but we'll see. I hope they lose that and then they get beat by Sheffield United as well. I just want to go on the record as saying as well, like, I want Sheffield United to stay up as well. It's one of the Yorkshire teams that I like and I enjoy, and I like Chris Wilder. Just want to say that for you, Hal. You know what I mean? I couldn't give a shit about Monk and his lot down there. I mean, has he been sacked yet or what? I mean, I
hope not. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, same. We need them Yorkshire teams back in there, you know. Not so much likes of Huddersfield, etc. But yeah, Sheffield United and Leeds. So let's hope that continues. But Locks, yeah, come. Obviously, we've not had the chance to do an opposition preview this week. We've all been busy with work and other commitments. So this is the first real Leicester fan that we'll be speaking to on the channel. Can you give us a bit of a chat about your start to the season and how you think Monday's game will go away at Ellen Road?
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, during pre-season, a lot of Leicester fans were really worried. We knew, I mean, we had an awful end to last season. It was absolutely shocking. We went from 3rd to 4th to 5th in the space of, 6-7 games. So it was dreadful. And then at the time, we didn't think that we'd strengthened enough in the transfer window at the time. When the season started, we picked up a good couple of wins at the start. We beat Burnley, we beat West Brom, Manchester City 5-2. And then obviously more recently, we had two poor performances, West Ham and Aston Villa. And then obviously another win against Arsenal last week. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster so far already. Obviously a long way to go yet. I think we've started games two different ways. We've either kind of gone for it. We've had most of the ball. We've tried to work the ball into the box. Jamie Vardy as always. Or we've kind of respected the team a lot more, and these games I'm talking about Man City and Arsenal, where we have just sat back, literally 11 men behind the ball, tired them out, and then kind of second half just hit them, kind of a smash and grab if you like. And I think on Monday, we are going to really respect Leeds because of how they have started the season. I was speaking with a Leeds fan earlier on today, and we were saying, I did expect Leeds to come up and give it a real good go. And I did predict for them to finish somewhere between 10th and 7th this season. But, watching that first game against Liverpool and shown real fight as we knew they would. And they've played some really, really good football. Bielsa ball, I hear it's called. So, yeah, I think we will respect you guys. I think we will sit behind the ball for majority of the game, if I'm honest, and I think we will try and hit you on the break, as we know, in fairness, Leicester can do really well.
Yeah, Locks. I mean, if I was like a Leicester fan, that for me would be the perfect tactic. We've seen it with Wolves, and I think if anything, you have an even better chance than what Wolves did in terms of catching us on the fly later on in the second half with the likes of Jamie Vardy sitting on Liam Cooper's shoulder. Hal touched on it earlier when Billy Sharp, etc., bullied him. He's not the most, he's not the quickest, you know what I mean? And I just think if you were to sit in and, is it 3 centre-backs you play? Is it like Evans, Fofana, mix it up, I guess?
It varies. Yeah, I mean, we're littered with injuries. It's a bit difficult to play 3 centre-halves at the minute, but we still do it somehow. We've got James Justin, the wing-back or the full-back normally comes in and plays at centre-half. Same with Christian Fuchs. So it's either a 4-1-4-1 or a 3-4-3, whatever it is. So it could be either.
Do you know, on that, Oscar, as well, I mean, if they were to employ that tactic and play with the 3 centre-backs we've seen against Wolves, if our balls into the box aren't great and they're just mopped up all day, we can when it's like that, we could play 4 games and not score a goal. Sometimes it just doesn't click for us, I find, against when teams do sit in like that, and I was touching on it on Monday Night Football, asking, do we get to a point where Leeds do start to get the respect that I, as a fan, believe we deserve due to Bielsa and the style of football that we play, that teams start to think, do you know what? We're going to start employing this tactic. I know Wolves do that religiously anyway, but we really seen that it's hard to break that down. And then when they've got the likes of Jamie Vardy, the quality of Vardy on the break up against Liam Cooper, with all due respect to Liam, Vardy can get at anyone. You've seen it against Arsenal, comes off the bench and scored. What are your thoughts for the game, Oscar?
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Rodgers is someone I've been a massive fan of for quite a while, to be fair. When he was at Liverpool, he didn't actually live that far from where I live, to be fair. And such a nice fella as well. Cannot speak highly enough of him. But as a coach as well, I think he's someone who's doing an unbelievable job at Leicester. And I think, like Nuno, he will adapt a little bit. I think, Rock just touched on it. I do think Leicester are going to probably go 3 centre-backs. He'll definitely look at that Wolves game and thought, you know what? Villa, when they went over back 4, we're not doing that. We're not doing anything like that. We're going to go back 3 and try and just hope that we just try and cross the ball into the box, because that's probably the best way of stopping us. Forcing us to go, go wide, just try and put balls into the box. That's probably the best way of trying to stop us. And I do look at Leicester and think they're so decisive. When they get the ball, something happens. Maddison, Tielemans, brilliant creators. Vardy and Barnes just superb on the break. Absolutely superb on the break. And Leicester don't need a lot of the ball. They don't need 5 or 6 chances, because they only need 1 or 2. And that's not me being critical of Leicester. It's just they're so well set up. I mean, the job Rodgers did in that Arsenal game, I mean, Arsenal just didn't like it. Just Arsenal looked so uncomfortable, and the threat of, if they lose the ball, they know they're in trouble. And that's the trouble with Leicester. You're in so much trouble if you lose the ball. And I think it's almost the fact that Leicester are better without it than what they are with it, and not to be disrespectful at all. But yeah, I do see a similar kind of game to Wolves, but I do think we're probably going into that with a little bit more confidence. I think after the Villa game as well. Rafinha, is he going to start? Is he not?
Yeah.
Rodrigo, absolutely on fire. I think we've solved our problem, hopefully, with Calvin being out. But yeah, I think they're a top team. They're definitely going to sit back a little bit, I think, Leicester. But that does not mean they're not going to be a threat. They're well capable of sitting back and scoring 3 against us. And that's just me being totally honest.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Harvey Barnes destroyed us for West Brom as well. Do you remember? Absolutely destroyed us. Was it 4-1, I think? He had such a great half to that season, West Brom. Obviously, Leicester took him back, But Danny, I'm a bit like Oscar. I'm a little bit nervous for this one, if I'm being totally honest. The interesting thing with what Bielsa said in his press conference, I don't know if you guys caught it as well, was the fact he was saying that any of 22 players could make this game, could make the team on Monday. And that's very unlike Bielsa in that normally he just has a set 11. I mean, I'd like to see Rafinha ahead of Costa, if I'm being totally honest. And people were telling me on Monday, he won't change it. He never changes it. But in his press conference today, he said, look, any of 22 could roll out there, and it shows really, I guess, the depth that we have now as opposed to previous seasons, you know. And he's willing to throw these new signings in because he hasn't done that before. But when Rodrigo, he came straight in, Koch straight in, you know. Rafinha we've seen in the bench from the bench almost instantly, whereas, you know, look at the likes of Izzy Brown. He played one game at the end of a season, you know. Lewis Baker we've very rarely seen, you know. Even Jamal Blackman, he had an awesome season at Sheffield United. And then he came at Leeds United and couldn't get a sniff, you know. It's just how Bielsa works. But it shows he's changed maybe a little bit, or is it just due to the quality of players that we're bringing in? I've gone on a bit of a rant there, Danny. But yeah, what are your thoughts for this game, bro?
There's not much I can add. I think Oscar and everyone else has hit it on the nail there. I mean, their break on the counter is just scary, you know, especially when you've got Vardy, a fit and, you know, raring to go Vardy as well. And we saw from the Arsenal game, I thought it was bad defending, to be honest. I thought he had loads of space, did Vardy. You know, as a natural good striker that he has, he made that space for himself. A great header to finish it. But I don't think that happens in a Bielsa team, because we really, you know, we've got a good stamina and it's drilled into him a man market, even if it is on a counter. We do stick to, you know, you got Ayling and Dallas, who are just little road runners. They just run all day. And you saw in the 93rd minute where we all 6 players would sprint. They were sprinting down that pitch, weren't they? But I think, like you say, if it's going to be like a Wolves game, we need to take our chances, because if they're going to sit back, you know, well, not sit back, but, you know, wait for the counter. If we take our chances, they've got to come and attack us, which is good for us, which makes our game better, really. Because if they're 1-0 down, they're not just going to sit on low block or soak up the counter. I think we'll see loads of the ball, like Locke just said, and maybe they'll just try and. I mean, I've not watched Leicester a lot this season, but they are good. You can't underestimate Leicester. They're a great team. Yeah, but that's just my
It's that main man in it, Jamie Vardy. That's the one. Am I right in saying I've seen a lot of people put it in the chat as well, Locks? You've not dropped any points away from home this season. 4 from 4, is it?
That's right. Yeah. So we've got a really good away form so far. Last night as well in Athens, another away win there. So we're looking good away from home, which we haven't always done. In the past we've looked kind of really, really strong at home, and away games we have kind of been a bit inconsistent. But yeah, so far so good. I think, they're not really home and away grounds now at the minute because there's no fans. It's a completely different environment.
And I've heard a lot. I've not seen him play yet, mate, but we touched on him a little bit earlier on. But what can you tell us about Fofana?
He's been ridiculous. It's been crazy. I mean, we were linked with him and Tarkowski. They were the two we were mainly linked with in the window, and I think Burnley were asking for 50 million or something for Tarkowski, which Leicester weren't really keen on doing. For a 27-year-old, we can't really talk because of the higher deal, but that's how it works. But I think with Fofana, he was playing alongside that Arsenal centre back William Saliba, who's also signed for 30 million there. So since he's come in, we didn't know too much about him, obviously, but since he's come in, he's just been such like a breath of fresh air, really. I mean, he's 19 years old, and that's a massive price tag for a 19-year-old. 30 million quid. Obviously, Soyuncu had quite a bad injury in the last international break, and that obviously gave Fofana a chance to come in. And he's just been so good. He reads the game incredibly well. He's got such a wise head on young shoulders, and he genuinely feels like he's been in that team for years. Obviously, you'll see it on Monday. It feels like even if we kind of do concede, he does put in a kind of 8 out of 10 performance at least. So it'll be exciting to see where he goes from here. But so far, so good.
Nice. And obviously we've all us three. I'll come to you in a second, Hal. Don't worry, mate. But look, we've all just mentioned there some of your key players. Is there anyone from a Leeds United perspective you're looking at and thinking you need to be wary of?
Well, at the minute, obviously, hat-trick Bamford. Great performance from him the other night. But Yeah, you've got. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ayling, massively. I mean, obviously he's gonna. Our wingers will struggle against him on Monday, 100%. The effort he puts into every game. I watched the that Leeds documentary not long ago, and he looks like such a good character as well in the dressing room. So definitely him. And Rafinha, I've heard lots about. I've heard that he is, a promising young lad who can do some damage on the wing, and as well Rodrigo, who causes me nightmares on FIFA.
And me, does my tits in.
yeah, honestly. So yeah, there's a few players in there, quite a lot of players actually, who I'm worried about. And yeah, I mean, it's Calvin Phillips injured, I heard, is he?
Yeah, he's still injured, mate. Yeah,
Calvin Phillips. So there's another one. But yeah, thankfully, obviously for us, he's not going to be playing.
Yeah, just on Rafinha, he played probably the best pass I have ever seen from a Leeds United player when he came on against Villa on Monday night. Oscar, it was absolutely nectar, wasn't it, mate? I mean, I just wish that Pablo would have took a touch. I think if Pablo's match fit Pablo, he takes a touch and he smashes that in the top bins, but he just swung his foot and it went, and it's not getting the credit it deserves. If you've not seen it,
it's not.
Please check it out because it was unreal, wasn't it, Oscar?
Oh, mate, I mean, you saw him lining it up and you're thinking, surely not. Where's he trying to play this to? And then all of a sudden you see it kind of open up and you think, oh, mate, he's played it through it's almost like something from the Matrix. It's like he's kind of played it through bodies. He's not gone round bodies. He's literally just played it through. It does, when you're watching it back, even when you kind of pause it, you think, how on earth has he seen it?
Yeah.
He executed it. It does seem a bit after, we're 1-3-0 to talk about that, but just the pass. But it was that good, and it led to that big a chance. I think it deserves all the respect it gets, because if you can produce that on a regular basis, we've got some player on our hands.
Yeah, definitely. Hal, have you seen the pass? I seen you going like this. I wondered if you'd had a chance to see the pass.
Yeah, that was Oscar's Matrix comment, which I really liked. I really appreciate that. That was good. I think I grew up, as you know, in Tadcaster, and I used to go to Ellen Road whenever Sheffield United weren't playing or they were away and Dad wouldn't take me. And so I've seen Gary Speed and Gary McAllister, players like this, putting fantastic passes. So to say that it's one of the best passes you've ever seen from a Leeds player is quite something. So yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, it's worth seeing. I would also say all this talk of Fuchs and Cock, there's a child's bike outside. You could just watch the language. And I think we're missing the bigger story, which is Locks. Your team played against, I've always called them AEK Athens, and I found out last night it's pronounced Ike Athens.
Yeah. My girlfriend's dad said the same thing last night. He couldn't believe it when he heard Ike Athens. But we had on our channel a Leicester fan from Athens on our show. It was last week, and he corrected us as well. He did say no, it is Ike Athens. So that's it apparently.
Yeah, you can't move for Leicester fans in Athens.
I can't believe it.
Go on, Hal, talk to us about this fixture, mate, from a neutral standpoint, as neutral as you can be anyway, obviously, with your disdain for Leeds United.
The first goal is going to be absolutely crucial. As simple as that. Whoever gets it goes on to win this game. I firmly believe that. I think if Leicester get it, that would be... You're right there, Danny.
Sorry.
I think
the worst thing for the game is if Leicester score first. So from a neutral's point of view, I think that would be the worst thing, because then I think Leicester could be quite happy to just sit back and nick it 1-0. If Leeds score first, Leicester are already going to try and hit them on the break, so it's not really going to change too much. I think it'll be a really exciting game if Leeds score first, and Leicester will, with every chance they get, with that pace they've got up front, try and attack. It'll be a cracker then.
Yeah, good man. What's your score prediction then, Hal?
Well, do you play up to the masses, or do you go with your head? It's a tricky one. I actually, because I say that first goal is going to be so crucial. Let's go with it. I think it's actually going to be 2-1 to Leeds. Sorry, Locks.
It's all right. It's all right.
But I do think Leicester are going to score first, and then it's going to be all Leeds.
Nice, I love that. All Leeds away. Locks, we'll come to you, mate.
I agree with Hal. I think obviously the first goal is going to be crucial. I do see us getting the first goal. I think that'll be the main man, Jamie Vardy. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Leicester.
Nice. I don't actually know, you know. I'm so nervous for this game. I don't know what it is. It's that man Vardy, isn't it? It's that man Vardy. 2-0 Leeds United. Oscar?
I've a funny feeling they'll score first, but I think we'll come. I'll go 1-1. Go 1-1. I think Leicester are a good team. You got to say Leicester are a good team. I'll go 1-1. I think we can win it, but yeah, it's going to be tough.
Am I a better Leeds fan than Oscar? Big question.
Do you know what it is, though? I just think if Leicester do score first, we will really, really struggle to break them down because they'll just say, right, that's it, shut up shop, see you in a bit, I think. So we have to score first. But Danny, go on.
I think 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 Leeds.
But I think, that's I don't want to downplay Leicester because they're a really good team. I just think Bamford's in a run of form, and I think he'll get 2. Vardy will get the other. I just think we'll just edge it.
Can I just say, while we got Locks here, I think everyone should praise Leicester as the only club that voted against the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Great shout. What were your thoughts on that, Locks, when that happened? I was fuming that our club went the other way, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I mean, I remember me seeing the article. Only one club votes against the pay-per-view, and I had a feeling it would be Leicester. I think Leicester are very kind of massive family. Leeds are, a lot of clubs are, but I just feel like Leicester have always kind of been a club that like to set an example. And they're really good to their fans, giving out free beers and pies on the owner's birthday and all that type of thing. So
there you go, kids. Carlsberg.
Yeah, a bottle of water for the kids. But I'm not surprised by it. I am surprised that 19 other clubs did vote for pay-per-view. I think that's just embarrassing. I don't care if you're a Man United fan or if you're a Leeds fan or a Sheffield United fan. I think you should be embarrassed, really, that the hierarchy have voted that. So it's a shame, but yeah, we'll see how long it goes on for, won't we? I think it's going to be scrapped soon anyway.
Hope so.
Yeah, definitely. Or they'll just reduce the price, I think. I think that's going to be the next port of call. See if a tenner's enough before, you know what I mean? I don't know. Just on that pie stuff, I mean, we were actually taxed, pie tax. We were forced to buy a pie and pint at Ellen Road under Cellino. It wasn't no freebie. It was actually forced down the neck, wasn't it? It was your pie tax. Do you remember? That's the kind of shit we've had to deal with anyway. But that's the roundup of the games. It's now probably my favourite part of the show. I know it's definitely Hal's. It's time for...
It's that time again. It's time for All Smart Aren't We? With your host, Yanni Alieski.
That was quality.
I'll just flash up the leaderboard as well. We've had a fair few people now. I think this is the 7th time now, game week 7. So yeah, we've had a fair few guests on. Hal will get another go tonight to better his 6, and of course it'll be Locks' first goal. But is it Gianni or Diani Alieski? Take it away, my friend. You're on mute.
Sorry, I pressed wrong button. That's not my real voice. Right, Locks, you are the first comer. So, would you like the home or away questions?
Oh, God.
Let Hal sit. I'm
going to take the away questions.
Ooh, very good, my friend. Right, Joe.
So you've got a minute basically, Locks. I'll set the timer. He'll fire you the questions.
And Locks, don't let me put you off by telling you that Danny looks like Jimmy Savile. Get that out of your head. Get that out of your head.
I'm going to struggle here. This put me on the spot here. Come on.
You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. As long as you don't get 0. We've not had a 0 yet.
Right, okay.
And prior to his arrival in England, manager Walter Materazzi, sorry, I'll say that again, Materazzi, was manager of which Italian side?
Napoli.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Kevin Ball had a 3-game spell as caretaker manager of which club between September 2013 and October 2013?
pass.
Which Arsenal striker scored 6 seconds after coming into the game as a substitute in the North London derby in December 2007?
Nicholas Bentner.
Correct. Which club did Chelsea beat 8-0 in December 2012? Was it Sunderland, Wigan, or Aston Villa?
Aston Villa.
Correct. Which player scored on his first goal? Boca Juniors in 1981, Barcelona, and in Napoli 84.
Maradona.
Argentinian. Correct.
That's time.
Marcus,
That's time.
I've started.
Go on then, yeah, go on.
I've started, so I'll finish.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joe. Marcus Rashford scored his first senior Manchester United goal in the Europa League against which team? Was it FC Midtjylland? FC. That is correct, my friend. You are 4.
4. Decent showing, mate. Decent showing. It'd help if he started correctly giving you the correct pronunciation of Materazzi. Anyway, Walter
Isn't it Walter Mazzari?
Well, there you
it's
go.
It's not even Materazzi. He was a defender.
There you go. So,
Mum, tell him. I'm trying to do my thing here, and they're just taking piss. Okay.
Right, Locks 4. Hal.
Which is not
Can I
bad
just-
score.
By the way, Locks, those questions were really hard. You did really well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pretty hard, weren't they?
Cheers.
What was the Alan Ball? Was it Alan Ball, did you say? Or
Kevin Ball.
No. I'll tell you after. Don't mess up the system, Joe.
Sorry,
Live.
mate. Go on, mate. Go on, sorry.
Right. Happy Halloween. Let's go.
So,
Out of 20
hang on. Have I got home or away choice here?
You've got the home choice.
Oh, I have to go home.
Yes.
Right.
Bye. Right, here we go. Can't see where these bloody things on. As of 2020, who is the only Brazilian manager to being in the Premier League?
How's that home?
It's your time, Hal.
The fella, Phil Scolari.
That is correct. I don't appreciate the laughing in from the audience. Wayne Rooney made his England debut in an embarrassing 3-1 loss to which country?
Ooh, Australia.
Correct. Who was manager of Chelsea between June 2004 and September 2007?
I can't remember. Pass.
Which painful game are the Brazilian public referring to when they use the name Minorazo?
The Uruguay World Cup final.
Incorrect. Which English football league are known as the Tykes?
Barnsley.
Correct. Until 2009, Love Street was the home of which Scottish football club? Queen of the South, St Mirren, or
St Mirren.
Correct. Which English referee took charge of the Euro 2016 final?
Graham Poll.
Time.
Incorrect.
Time. How many was that, mate?
That was 4 again. So he still remains 6.
Sorry, I
How was that home? I thought home would be questions that would be
It's just different set of questions.
Right, so it's not home or away at all. There's no bonus or benefit for going home or away. I thought home would be questions about my club.
Every time.
I'm expecting a Sheffield United question. The first question's about Philip Scolari. I was properly thrown. I was thrown the whole way through that quiz. And then I had someone in the comments saying I look like an ugly Gary Neville. It's not on.
Hold on, wait a minute. Someone thinks Gary Neville's pretty.
Well, I think he said I'm a weird Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that is the ultimate, like, what's his name, isn't it? An ugly Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Gary Neville, just.
That's just Gary Neville.
Yeah.
And I look like
There you
David
go.
Guest, not Gary Neville. So,
There. That's a good shout.
if we're going to insult me, get it right.
David Guest. Oh, gosh.
And I mean David Guest now. It's getting late. Let's get dark.
Yeah, it is. It is. Right. We'll call it to time. So both of you's got 4. Thank you so much for coming on.
Terrible.
Honestly,
And of course,
I'm
there's no tiebreaker, is there? That would make too much sense.
Meow.
Hell, don't man. I've gone, mate. Right, okay. Locks, where can we find you, mate? What can we look forward to from Leicester City Fan TV?
Yeah, Leicester Fan TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, our website. Obviously, pre-match shows, post-match shows, midweek shows. Just discussing obviously the opposition and things like that, just like you guys. So, as I said, Leicester Fan TV on YouTube.
And I believe Oscar's going to be joining you on Sunday as well, ahead of the game for a quick chat. Is that right? What time's that on, mate? Where can we catch that?
That is Oscar. It's with Jamie. It's with another guy on Leicester Fan TV. I believe it's 10:30. I think so. I think it's 10:30. 10. There we go.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Oscar knows more than me. No, it'll be 10 o'clock on Leicester Fan TV, and that's the preview show. Looking forward to the game.
Great stuff. And Hal, where can we find you, my friend?
Sure, Locks didn't fancy getting Danny on for the preview, or was it after seeing this video you've gone with Oscar? You can find us Sheff United Way. So at Sheff United Way on YouTube, at Sheff United Way Twitter. I could keep going. At Sheff United Way Instagram, at Sheff United Way Facebook.
It was totally unprovoked.
I'm just miffed about that. I'm miffed about the quiz. I like winning. There should have been a tiebreaker. Home doesn't make any sense. I was going to be really impressed if Danny had come up with like 10 Sheffield United questions. I was like, I respect that. That's good. He's got them up his sleeve. He doesn't know what I'm going to say, home or away. Nah, Philip Scolari, straight in.
You got it right, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. You're right. I should have known the Mourinho one because I was so thrown. I knew it was Mourinho, wasn't it? The Chelsea.
Well, it fucking worked, didn't it?
Right, guys. I need toilet. To be fair, thank you all so much for coming on. We'll see you in a bit. All Leeds our way, matching on together, and all that jazz. Look out for the previews coming to you tomorrow, and of course, we'll have a watch along for the Leicester Leeds game as well. Have a nice weekend, people. Thank you to our guests for coming on, and hopefully Scum and Chelsea both lose and Leeds United win, and then we'll all be good. And of course, I want Sheffield United to beat City as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got 5 as well in the quiz, just saying.